There you go. Perfect. So, Arielle, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. Thank you. So, it is so cool to have you back here. Welcome back. It's so awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Badass too. So, before we start, you know the drill. I have to give you an epic, proper, badass welcome for someone as epic and badass as you. So, there you go.
I'm ready.
There you go.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, starting now. Tell me, what's new since our last interview?
So I've been booking more stuff, which is great. Little commercials, little videos. I've been doing a lot more work on Upwork, and that has been just a lifesaver. Just being able to like grind out recordings every day has been really, really nice. I've been, just trying to hone that a little bit more. So like I think things have been a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit more exciting. A little bit more exciting these days. But yeah.
So cool. Actually, Arielle you were, I think, one of the first ones. I think you were. Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were like one of the first ones back when I started. You can actually check the first interview that I had with her on YouTube. It is actually the first video I upload, so that is another plus here. That's so cool. And how has been like the whole audition process now that everything is starting to open?
It's kind of been the same for me. Definitely people are, there's a lot more work.
Totally.
At least as far as I've been able to see. And it's been pretty good. Like, I think people are starting to go back into work and back into their jobs. And I can't really tell if that is affecting the availability or not.
Yeah,
I don't know if people are like not able to do as much work now, because they have, other jobs that they have to go to, including me. And so it's really interesting, but at the same time, I haven't seen a dip in requests or anything like that. I think people are now at least having the funding to do their projects, coming out of the woodwork, So, if anything, I think that it looks like there's more, but I have such a limited scope on what I can see, right? So, yeah.
Okay. Now, I've also heard that during the whole like holiday season, it is kind of the moment in which a lot of gigs for voice acting start to appear. So there's like a lot more opportunities now, especially in this whole crazy season, right?
Yes. Especially, we've got stuff that is for like Christmas. People are starting to work on their Christmas projects, but even now, like some people are doing like Halloween stuff. Yeah. Still. And I have a colleague back home who was doing an animated short, or like an animated YouTube series on these little ghosts. And he texted me and he was like, "Hey, can you voice one of these characters?" And that was really, really fun. So I love that kind of stuff, like the little like animated stuff, especially for Halloween. Yeah. I love Halloween. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, it's so
my
cool.
little tarp in the background. We have a lot of our decorations up. So stuff like that, like the themed stuff, I personally really like. Yeah. But yeah, to answer your question, a lot of Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I haven't seen any New Year's stuff yet, but I expect that within the next month.
Yeah, totally. That's so cool. I'm still waiting my chance so somebody can let me play my Christmas jingles, because I love doing like totally and you can some of my friends will totally agree that sometimes I will just start to create jingles out of nowhere, like if we were driving or I was doing something, and then I start to come up with words and create this jingle song. So I'm still waiting for my chance so I can bring jingles back to life. So
yeah, you're ready for that time, the time of the year.
Yeah. Now, what are some of the audition techniques that you ended up learning due to the self-tape process?
So it's really interesting because a lot of the things that I learned from coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Not so like there are some things that I've learned on my own, but for the most part, vocal warm-ups, like like my neighbors must think I'm nuts.
Yeah.
But lip trills, like I can't do, it's too early. But trilling your lips.
Mm-mm.
Which when I first do it, like I'm trying to do it right now, I can't do it at all, but I have to do it over and over for like a couple minutes and then I get, because it's literally warming up your face. Face massages and stuff like that. Like for me, it's a little interesting because I have TMJ disorder. So my jaw gets really tense a lot quicker than other people's. So I try to make sure that this is especially loose, because if I start doing voice acting for a long time and I don't, give my jaw the proper care that it needs, it'll just start bothering me and I'll get really tense. So stuff like that I just pay special attention to for me personally. And let's see, I drink tea as much as I can. I try to avoid coffee for the most part if I'm doing voice acting, or even tea with caffeine in it. I try to keep it with like peppermint tea or herbal tea, because it'll warm up the vocal cords, because caffeine will kind of dehydrate your vocal cords, so that's why it doesn't work as well. So and again, drinking lots of water. But when I'm right before I do an audition, I like to do tea instead, because cold water can stiffen your vocal cord, and that can make it harder to jumpstart into the audition. One thing I've started doing a lot is, what are they called, like tongue twisters?
Oh yeah.
Because when you like red leather, yellow leather, that I try to do that as much as I can, because I just when you first start reading a copy, you're kind of like stumbling over your words, right? I'm like, wow. But yeah, so stuff like that really does help. I mean, it's like stretching before a run or a workout and then stretching after. Like it's just better overall if you do it.
Yeah. The like in one of the episodes that I have, I interview also this voice actress that she uploads like a lot of tongue twisters every single day. So every now and then, whenever I'm just like looking, through Instagram, if she put something, I will definitely be starting to say it. She put like a lot of cool stuff, like seashells by the seashore, or stuff like that. So I know what you mean. They're super fun. So how cool is that?
Seashells by the seashore. Yeah. I had to think about how to say it.
Yeah. I mean, she has like she has some tricky ones. For example, peaky people pick Peter Pan peanut butter tits. The peanut butter peaky people pick.
I have not heard that one before.
Like the other day I was just saying this, and then my parents came over, right? So my mom, she's right now into learning English, but like a lot of it, right? So I started to say this one, and then I looked at her and I was like, what did I say? And then she was like, I have no idea.
No idea.
So I was like, okay.
I mean, I could barely understand it, and I'm speaking.
That's good. So and like from all of your different performances at the moment, like which has been like the deepest learning curve? I mean, like the performance that you learned the most lessons from.
Interesting question. I landed my first gig on Upwork, and that was definitely different. Like before that, I had done other auditions through other websites, and it had been fine. But this one was different for me because it felt not more professional, but like I had to track my hours, using the desktop app. I had to communicate with the client, and it was awesome, and I really enjoyed it, and they really enjoyed my take on it. But it was definitely a new experience for me. It was more like, you know, they messaged me and they were like, can you do this within this amount of time? It's a quick turnaround. And I was like, yes, I can. And I did it. And you know, there's a different pressure that comes with that. Like, you know, like being able to I remember like, just taking 1,000 takes and being like, this isn't good enough, and then editing it down. And I kept hearing my coach in my head, like, take the best 3.
Yeah.
Because if you don't limit yourself, like, I know that I get in the mode of, I guess, got to keep doing it. I can't keep recording it, re-record. And that's kind of a bad cycle to get in, because if you keep recording, you're eventually going to end up doing the same things over and over and over. You know, like you have probably 3 or 4 takes in you that are really, really good. And then, you know, select what you like out of that. But if you just keep pushing yourself to do like 10 takes, what's going to happen is, like, you're going to burn out.
Totally.
And then you're not going to be producing really anything.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Totally.
So I'm working on that. I'm working on being like, for instance, I had another contract yesterday, and I took 3 takes, and I was like, take 2 and 3 are great, take 1 is bad. I don't like it. Took that one out, and then re-recorded certain words that I didn't like how I delivered, and edited those in, and then I sent it. And that was like so much better for me. Yeah. Personally, because it was like, I know I did well in a couple takes. Yeah. And so then I was done. You know, and the client can come back and be like, we actually want you to do a different read, and that's fine. Like, that happens. But, you know, give it your best shot, but don't keep giving it your shot over and over and over, because then eventually you're just going to be like beating a dead horse at that point.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've learned, is trying not to be a perfectionist about it.
Yeah, no, that's, and also I think the fact that if you like continue doing like the whole, like, what want to say? Yeah. So I do think also that if you do the audition and then you like it and then you start doing it over and over and over and over and over and over, I mean, besides getting burned out, you're going to waste your whole day of doing one thing, you know? Exactly. Yeah.
And you're gonna hurt your voice.
Yeah, totally.
Like, if I took this one contract, which has all of my focus, as it should, because that's what the client deserves. If I take all day to do a recording, fine, but I better be doing things in between. Like, I better be having breaks for myself. Totally. Because I try not to spend more than a few hours at a time on an audition or a contract, and then pick it up later. You know, obviously, like, track your hours, make sure, you know, you're being fair. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, if I ruin my voice on one contract or audition, I can't do anything else. Yeah. Like, I'll be, you know, on vocal rest for a couple of days, and then I can't be doing anything during that time. So it's just about taking care of yourself. It's self-care. It's just like any other job. Like, if you work overtime for 7 days in a row, you know, you're going to feel burned out the following Monday, and you're not going to want to work anymore. I mean, our bodies are supposed to have rest and breaks. So it's the same concept.
Yeah, totally. I mean, if you want to, like, if you want to apply like this, you know, like on those motivational speeches you will hear here and there, in which they say like you will sleep until you will sleep when you die, or stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean, no, it doesn't cut it. You know, you need you need some time kind of to so you can kind of relax and get away from things a bit. I mean, even if it is like starting project, or if it's like your career or a job or something, you really need to have moments where you can like take a break and continue.
Yes.
Otherwise you will break. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Now, what can we expect from Arielle in the future?
I'm gonna keep grinding on, on Upwork, Voice 123. I'm gonna be doing some more Instagram stuff. I've been kind of lax about it just because I've had a lot going on with other auditions and stuff like that. But I do hope to be putting more, like TikTok challenges and, the fun stuff on my Instagram and my TikTok. And yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of trying to make sure that I keep the creativity alive with these, because obviously when you do auditions and when you do contracts, you're doing what the client wants, and that's the whole job. Like, that's what you do what the client wants. But when I come to, like, when I have, my Instagram stuff, I can do whatever I want. I can, I like to do a bunch of makeup and like have an outfit and have something that like corresponds to what I'm doing. That's super fun for me. Like, I enjoy that anyway. Again, Halloween, I like dressing up. So, those types of things I'm definitely trying to do more of, because it's fun for me. It's self-care for me to be able to like basically have no limits on my creativity. But that being said, I am doing more and more auditions. So, and getting more contracts, which is absolutely wonderful. I'm very excited about it. So I'll be doing a lot of that. I also got a new job. So, a work from home job. So I'm kind of splitting my time a little bit. So I do, I work in the afternoons. So I, do my VO in the morning and then work in the afternoons. So it's just all about, like, I'm trying to learn time management, because like we said, like, we're coming out of the pandemic now, kind of. People are going back to work regardless. And, I'm trying to learn how to kind of function in that, because before now I was just doing voice acting. I hadn't, had a job, to be quite frank with you, since the beginning of the pandemic. So I'm learning that again. So it's been interesting. I think that in itself is a learning curve as well. Coming out of the pandemic and, trying to get back to a regular routine. But I'm finding that it's much easier. Like yesterday, for example, I got up and, did a contract for 2 or 3 hours, and then had lunch and got into work and worked for the rest of the day, and it was great, and I felt productive. And stuff like that. It's just very it's like a little nugget of a reward, right? When you're able to complete something. And for a while I wasn't feeling that way. I think a lot of people were feeling that way with the pandemic. Like, it's like, I'm just not able to get anything done, or I'm not able to get as much done as I want to. But yeah, so I think I definitely am going to be doing more auditions. I'm going to try my best to be pumping out more content, just because I know it's good for me. And it's fun. It's just so yeah, I'm trying to get some more out before the end of the Halloween season, just because it's so fun. But we'll see.
There you go. Awesome. Now, moving on to Halloween season. Tell me, what do you like the most about Halloween?
Oh, dressing up, for sure. I love costumes. Like, give me a good theme for any party, any event, and I will go all out. I absolutely, that's just my favorite thing. It just makes me happy. And this year has been particularly interesting because I think last year people just couldn't celebrate Halloween the way that they wanted to, and myself included. And this, this year people are definitely making up for it. I have stuff going on. I have Halloween parties and events happening like every weekend. And that's been fantastic for me because I've been able to, actually celebrate a holiday that I love. But yeah, definitely been having multiple costumes to get together. Yeah, I think that's my favorite, decorating and the costumes.
There you go. And if you could be in any horror franchise at the moment, which one you would choose?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I would have to say, so I guess it's a franchise. It's more of an anthology, but I absolutely adore, and of course I cannot remember their names right now. Um, I can't remember the director's names and the producer, but but like The Haunting of Hill House, Bly Manor, Midnight Mass. I absolutely adore that anthology. I just think their writing is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
The characters have such development, and it's scary. Like it's scary and it's creepy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like this perfect blend of a really good story with really good scares.
Yeah.
So I think definitely that anthology.
Okay.
And TV form, which is really interesting. Because there's a lot, there's a lot of horror movie franchises and stuff like that, but there's not a whole lot of TV shows that are
true.
scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they put more attention on the movies instead of a good horror TV show. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned it, it's true.
I guess
I never thought
it's harder to draw that out, right? It's harder
that's
to.
The issue. Yeah.
Yeah, because like with Haunting of Hill House and Midnight Mass, let me say this. With Haunting of Hill House, you get hit pretty fast with the action, but you don't know what's going on until the end. And with Midnight Mass, it's a slow burn. You know what's happening, but it just gets more and more intense slowly over the course of it. And like that's with horror movies, like things like The Conjuring. It's creepy from the beginning, but there is a point where it escalates. And, that's great. And they're amazing horror movies that I love. But there's something about being able to make it into a TV show or a limited series that it's just so impressive to me.
Yeah. Do you remember, or have you ever watched this show, like back when you were, like back in the 90s? I don't know. I mean, I know it because I know the show in Spanish, but I think in English would be like Afraid of the Dark. That there were like a couple of kids that they were like they were gathering in a.
That sounds familiar, but I'm not.
Yeah, it was Nickelodeon. I remember, and so there were like a bunch of guys that were gathering in a fire, and they would be telling like scary stories. But in each episode, like one of them will tell a story and instantly will turn into a sketch. Well, that was a very awesome one. And I remember and I remember that the cool thing about it is that in every episode there was a new story. So that but I can totally agree with you that with The Conjuring or with some movies, like to make them shows would be complicated.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally. And like, what are some of your favorite horror movie characters, and which ones gave you a hard time back when you were a kid?
Okay. So, like, you mean like just types of characters, or you mean like actual, like Michael Myers and okay. Yeah. That's a good question. Okay, I will say, I think The Nun, and I haven't seen The Nun, but I know Conjuring 2. I think The Nun is fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Just so scary, so creepy. I mean, she's just fabulous. And she, I think being able to, and she's a beautiful woman. In real life, just absolutely gorgeous. So the fact that they can transform her into something that's inherently terrifying is pretty cool. In addition to that, one that I just watched is Midnight Mass, and everyone I've talked to, I've just been like, watch Midnight Mass, it's so good. But there is a creature in that one, and he is terrifying. Like he's scary, not in the way that the nun is, because the nun is kind of in the background until she's not.
Yeah.
Right. And this creature, when he shows up, he's there. He's there, and you know, but he has such a commanding presence. And I think that that's something to be said, is like, if you can just show up in a scene and just scare the hell out of people, you know, like, then that's something that I think is just so cool. When you know, because there's the slashers, like we just watched Halloween, like, you know, Michael Myers, that's, you know, that's scary in and of itself because someone's coming in with, like, you know, but at the same time, there's something about being able to stand in a room or stand in a corner and not say a word, not do anything, and people will still be afraid of you. Yeah. I think those characters are just the coolest.
Yeah, I can agree on that. Yeah, you know, I like slashers, but sometimes I hate slashers because I don't understand what is wrong with people that they act like, you know, that for example somebody's chasing them and they just keep falling, and they have a gun and they drop it, and they have the keys of the car and they drop him again, and you're like, dude, you know, like, what the hell?
We me and my boyfriend just watched the 78 Halloween, and it's just so frustrating to see all those babysitters like walking into this trap, and it's like, you know, it was nice to have Jamie Lee Curtis like actually showing up as like you know, this very smart, you know, very clever, resourceful character, because you don't see that, especially with like women in you know, in scary stories and scary movies. You don't see that a whole lot. You're seeing more of it now, but in the older movies you don't see that. And she definitely shows up. I really like that a lot.
No, but you know what? Yeah, you're right. I think, like, if you watch older slasher movies, all the female characters, they would just be running around screaming, and tripping, and by any miracle chance they kill the monster or serial killer or whatever. But that's it. You know, they don't have like this moment in which you're like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, back with the slashers. Yeah, that is one of the things that why I do watch them, but sometimes I'm like, I don't want to watch it because it gets frustrating. I get frustrated like a lot, and then I get like, if I'm very invested into the movie, I will start be saying like, what the hell's wrong with you, you know?
And to your other question about what gave me a hard time as a kid, this is a funny story. And one my parents tell, because it's so silly. I love Halloween now, and I love getting into horror movies and you know, scary stuff like that, but it's because I forced myself to do it for the longest time. Because when I was little and up into high school, I could not be scared. Like, could not be scared, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I wouldn't do haunted houses. I wouldn't watch scary movies. Like, I wouldn't do it. I was just too afraid. You know, and once I was in college and coming out of college, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of being scared so easily. I'm going to immerse myself in scary movies. I'm going to go do this stuff. And I found out that I loved it. Because once you know, there's still movies that have really freaked me out, but I've been working on just being like, you know what? I can appreciate this as an art form. And there's so many things out there that I love now. Like these TV shows and these movies. Like, it's just like, I would have missed out on it had I not engaged with horror. But one really funny story from when I was little. And again, this is just preface. This is ridiculous. But when I was really little, you know, my parents, are you familiar with VeggieTales at all?
VeggieTales?
VeggieTales. Okay, so it's it's like an animated series of movies where it's essentially these animated like vegetables that talk, right? And it's I grew up in the Southeast, and we, you know, I grew up in a Christian household, and so VeggieTales was a lot because it was always talking about like Bible stories. Like, that was their whole thing, was Bible.
Okay.
So we watched that a lot growing up. And they were so cute. Like it was, it's very informative to tell the stories, but also like they were just fun characters. They were funny, and they always did a good job. But there's one movie that terrified me as a kid, which you think VeggieTales is like super cute. There's no reason to be scared. Somehow little me found a way to be terrified of this character. They were telling the story of Esther.
Okay.
And the story of Esther in the Bible is essentially this woman gets chosen to be the wife of a king, and the king's right-hand man was going to essentially hurt, kill, enslave her people.
Okay.
And so she had the courage to go and talk to the king and ask him to save her people. It's a big, big story of bravery in the Bible. And which is great. It's a powerful female lead as a vegetable. But, there is a price to pay when you go and talk to the king uninvited. People were put to death for that sort of thing. But, you can't really talk about death in a kid's TV show, right? You just can't do it.
Yeah, you can't.
So what they did was they sent these, if someone did something wrong or went and talked to the king uninvited, they got sent to the island of perpetual tickling. Okay? And that's a kid's thing, right? Like, oh no, like how bad is that?
Yeah.
But the character they had to bring you to the island was a Grim Reaper with, instead of like a scythe, a feather, because he's tickling you, right? So, but there's this Grim Reaper, so it's just this hooded figure with a feather, and he's gliding across the room, and he takes you away. I couldn't sleep. This character, I don't even remember what they called him, because they couldn't call him like the Grim Reaper or anything like that, of course. But he, like, my parents still tell this story to this day. Like, I went to a haunted house and they were like, "Oh, it was the island of perpetual tickling there." Like, and like, I don't know why, but it scared me so bad. Like, I would close my eyes because we'd watch that movie over and over, but I would not watch it. I was terrified. As a grown woman now, binge watching slasher movies and poltergeists and conjurings, things like that. It's so funny to me to tell that story because it's like I've come a long way when it comes to horror stuff. Yeah. So yeah, but the island of perpetual tickling terrified me.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
that's so cool. And what are some of your favorite moments that you had back as a kid on Halloween?
One that really sticks out to me is a prank me and my dad played on my mom. Because again, being a kid that was so scared of everything, Halloween did scare me. Because I was always afraid of people scaring me, jumping out of bushes. I also had a little bit of social anxiety, so I didn't actually like asking for candy. I would go up and, things like that. But there are 2 points that I remember that it really stick out to me. One was the prank, which I'll get into in a second. But the first one is me and my family love Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Love Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
And my favorite character, of course, was Legolas, the elf, played by Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
And my mom made me a costume for it. Like, we basically DIY'd it, and I looked just like him because I was like this little kid with long, like very long blonde hair, like a thin face, and I had like a little bow and arrow, I had the cloak, I had everything, and that was like my favorite costume ever. But the prank I played on my mom, which I didn't even fully understand, this was all my dad. But my dad dressed me up, and he had just as much fun as I did, I'm pretty sure, maybe more. But he dressed me up, and I had this black, lace dress, and a black wig, black shoes, black tights, and my dad put this makeup on me. this black like makeup. Essentially, I looked like, and he put this like black veil. I was like a corpse bride. Essentially, I was like a dead bride.
Yeah.
But the prank he played on my mom is I was just like this little, figure shrouded in black in this shadow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when we were out walking, my dad turns to me and is like, okay, because my mom's up ahead. He turns to me and he's like, Arielle, go to your mom and walk like this. Because I apparently looked just like the girl from The Ring. And she crawls out of the TV like that.
Okay.
And my mom hates that movie. Absolutely hates that girl. And was it The Ring or The Grudge? I'm pretty sure it was The Ring.
The Ring.
But either way, similar characters. And I go up to my mom and I don't say anything. I just creep up behind her and I make that like jerky movements, and she turns and she sees me. She screams and she runs. She was like, "Don't do that. No." And she just like absolutely freaks out. She knows it's me, but she just freaks out and runs down the road. My dad's like losing it. That was probably one of my favorite Halloween memories, because for once I got to scare someone and not be scared.
Yeah. How cool is that?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I love to scare people, but I get scared so easily. So the thing is that I don't trust, like if I scare someone, I know that eventually that person is going to scare me back. So I'll be like, like if we go somewhere, I'll be just like looking like through corners, and to be like, wait a second, It's so funny though. Now, if you could pick like any costume for Halloween, like any costume, which one you would choose?
See, that's interesting because I really do change. Like this Halloween, I've already dressed up like a vampire. I have, a TV costume that I really love. I've got other stuff on deck for that. But I don't know. That's a good question because there's so many different things that I love, so many different genres. But I would love to just... like, I really love, like, the powerful femme fatale, like, villain.
Okay.
Villain, like I love Disney villains, but beyond that, those types of just, like, the elaborate, dark, brooding costumes. Like, I love that idea. I've already dressed up like a vampire, like I said, and I had, like, this long dress. I had this big black wig. I had makeup. I had these long black nails. Anything like that is just, just going all out for, something that has like a lot of layers and a lot of like, it's like classy, but in a scary way. You know what I mean? Anything that has a lot of detail, I really, really love. So I don't think I have like a specific person in mind. But there is one I've been thinking about.
Okay.
And that is my latest post. I did something very similar to this. Growing up, I loved Sinbad, the movie Sinbad, and the animated one. And there is a goddess of chaos there, and her name is Eris. And she is just gorgeous. She is just this giant, dark, this entity of darkness, right? And she's just, but the way she moves is very elegant, and she's always got flowing black hair, and she's got this long dress, and everything she does is just, it just flows. And she's super scary. So I think that my next elaborate costume will probably be that. I really love it.
Awesome. In any movie or TV show that you could recommend for Halloween, or even a video game, why not?
Midnight Mass. I mean, I have been recommending that to literally everyone who talks to me. I'm like, have you seen Midnight Mass yet? It's awesome. Coming from, again, the Southeast where I grew up, in a church community, I think that is really interesting. It's I made a joke that I'm like, because the story is about a church community, and I won't say anything else because I don't want to give it away. But it's, I'm sitting there and they're like talking in church, and like there's, the priest is speaking, and I'm like, yeah, wow, this is good. And I'm realizing in the back of my head that I'm like nodding along like I was in church. And, my boyfriend's sitting there laughing at me. And I made a comment about it on Facebook. I'm like, yeah, I'm nodding along like I'm in church. And my actual pastor from back home, from the church I went to when I was little, commented, and he was like, but not mine, right? Not my sermons, right? But no, I think that's an awesome show. If you like to be spooked, but you love a good story, that is an excellent one. Right. It's on Netflix. Yeah, Netflix.
I'll be checking on that. You can count on that.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, if you could be in any video game horror franchise, which one you would choose?
That's a good question too. There's so many good ones out there. It's hard to pick one that's like the best. But I will say probably I love the the name of it escapes me. The anthology. I can't think of it. But the one that did the ones, I'm going to describe it and hope you understand what I'm talking about. It's the one where they have like the mocap and they have all their faces in there. Oh God, what is it called? It's like it's like a choose your own. You have to make the choices, and everything you do changes the outcome of the story. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm thinking.
It's like dark. It's dark something anthology.
Dark Souls? Dark Souls?
No, it's not Dark Souls. It's
Dark. What?
I feel so silly that I can't remember the name of it right now.
I got it here.
Yeah, if you put dark anthology, I cannot remember. Me and my boyfriend have played a lot of those through. He's gonna make fun of me that I can't remember the name of it.
1 second. Okay, I got it here.
It's got like a compass.
Man of.
Yeah, that's part of the anthology. Like Man of Medan and.
Okay. Yeah. I know which one you mean now. Like, yeah, those guys also made Dying Light. No, Dying Light is another one.
Dying Light.
Yeah, Dying Light. Yeah. Dying Light.
That anthology is so cool. Do you know what it's called? It's Dark Something. Yeah, it's Dark Something. But those are so cool. Those are so awesome because not only like I love the choose your own adventure type of things. So that is just fantastic in and of itself.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's a horror game and you have like literally the lives of the characters in your hands, like that's awesome. But also too, I think that the mocap, the being able to capture people's faces and put them in the game too.
Yeah.
I would love to have my face in a video game. Are you kidding? Like that sounds awesome.
That sounds good.
So definitely that anthology, that series. Not that they're gonna hire me now because I couldn't remember their name.
I just realized that Dying Light is the one which is a zombie parkour. Because if you haven't, you should definitely play that one. I mean, the first one has a very bit of a crappy story, but the gameplay is awesome. The gameplay is the one that makes the game super cool. So if you haven't, you should definitely check out that.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that one out for sure. I love zombies.
Yeah, and it's did you play like Dead Island?
I don't think I've played that one. No.
Yeah, there was this guy in this island, and then zombies came, and then you are in this tropical paradise full with zombies.
No, I have not played that. That sounds fascinating.
Definitely check on that too, because that one is really cool because you will have like this. It's on this island, really cool, and but it's full with zombies. So
cool.
Yeah, and those creators create this one, which is Daylight. No, I get confused with
I know there's so many good ones. I'm trying to remember all the names. I should have prepped. What I should have done is I should have made sure I knew the name, but
yeah, no, Yeah, but I get it because like all of those names are kind of look the same, you know.
Yeah.
So you
It's
get
all
to
that
feel like
depth,
yeah,
dark. Yeah.
yeah. And like, tell me, do you have any scary story you can tell us, or any scary, creepy one? What you got for us?
Okay, yeah. This one is really interesting. It happened actually recently.
Okay.
Which makes it even scarier.
Okay.
Me and my boyfriend were asleep, and I opened my eyes, and it was kind of like I saw this like blue light, so I figured it was really early in the morning. I can go back to sleep.
Yeah.
So I went back to sleep, and almost immediately, it felt immediately as I did so, I started hearing this like turn. Like I've heard, like it sounded like our bedroom door was, because we lock our front door and we also lock our bedroom door when we go to sleep, just, you know, make us feel better.
Yeah.
And because we live in a big city.
Oh, yeah.
So I heard someone
like
shaking,
trying to forcing it, or like
trying to force open the door. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, that's freaky, and it wakes me up. But the thing is, I can't move. Occasionally, I do have sleep paralysis, so I knew that was kind of what it was. But I was laying there and I couldn't move.
Yeah.
But I was trying to get my boyfriend's attention, but I couldn't reach him. And this, I mean, it just kept banging. And I thought for sure it was gonna, whatever it was just gonna crack the door and just like break in, kind of like a slasher, you know?
Yeah.
Because it felt like that. It felt like he was shaking the room. And eventually I was able to, you know, snap out of it and grab my boyfriend. My poor boyfriend. Like, he woke up in the middle of the night to me screaming my head off, being like, can you hear that? Can you hear it go down? And he wakes up out of a dead sleep and it's like, what? And I'm like, did you hear that? Did you hear it? Someone's at the door. And this poor kid, he's like, no, what are you talking about? Like, and he's holding on to me. He's like, listen, there's nothing. And I listened, I was like, can you go check? And of course it was nothing. It was a really realistic bad nightmare. But that, he checked the house because he was freaked out too. He was like, oh,
yeah, I would have done
that. No. Yeah. But that was probably in it. That was, I think, at the beginning of end of last month, beginning of this month. So it was a very interesting segue into Halloween season.
Yeah, I know. It's like the welcoming to Halloween.
Right, exactly.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Yeah, sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Every now and then. Yeah, those are just the worst, you know.
They're so scary. Yeah. I'm glad it was only that though, and not actually a slasher.
Yeah,
Not Michael Myers trying to break in, you know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the other day I was just playing online with friends, and then, you know, another, I remember this happened recently. Yeah, so you got a TV here, you know. And one of the things here is that normally when I play online with friends, I have to play standing up. I can't play sitting, because if I play, you know, like sit or like laying in bed, I will start to fall asleep. I don't know if I'm getting old or something, but like in those games, I need to be up so I can be like more, you know, like more attention. Like, you know? But anyway, so there's a TV and the door is right next to it, right? So normally when I play online, I will just even like pretty much every day, I will leave the door open, so the dogs can pass in. Anyway, but the other day, now I remember, so I was just playing, and then the light to the hallway was on, and then like from the corner of the eye, I saw I saw like this black shadow figure like go super fast, but like from the corner of the eye. But at first I thought like, okay, maybe it's my dog, because, you know, I was playing with the headphones. I was like, maybe one of my dogs. But then when I turned around, my two dogs were lying next to me. So I was like, you gotta be shitting me. So then I thought,
No.
okay, maybe he's a puppy because I have three ones. So I was like, okay, maybe he's a puppy, and he's also kind of dark, yeah. Anyway, so I thought that he was a pit bull, right? Okay, so I went downstairs, and the pit bull was on his bed. So I was like, wait a second. So if the puppy's there, the dogs are right next to me, and then I saw this black thing going through through the other room. Oh crap!
Yeah,
So
that's scary.
like super scary. And then of course I checked the house with everything. I got the other day I was going on camping, and then I wanted like this very small knife, so I could go camping. But I didn't read the description, so that was my mistake. So what ended up happening is that they brought this huge knife. So I was like, okay. So of course that I used that in order to check the house. Nothing was there, of course. Nothing. But then I went back to my room, and then again from the corner of my eye, I see like this black shadow again, boom, like passing the other side of the the room. So at that point I was totally freaking out, and then I just I remember that it was kind of a long night because I was just checking every corner, like
that's so scary.
And even like the second time that this black shadow passed, one of my dogs was like paying attention to it.
Oh, the dog saw it?
Yeah.
It's all over. The dog notices it.
And I was this close to make like an Insta story because the dog was like looking at the door but like totally focused on it. And it's been, and now that I remember, it's been like every I mean, not every night of course, but a few nights that the dog, like one of the three dogs will stand on the stairs because I live in it's a two floor house. So one of the dogs will stay at the stairs, just like looking at it, and it will be like the face, like he's looking at something. But I'm like looking at it, and there's nothing, and I'm like, dude, you're scaring me the hell out of it.
You need to like get your house cleansed or something.
Yeah, or even the puppy will sometimes start to bark at nothing. Yeah, like the next time I will do something like that, I will make like a video and I will send it to you because it gets sometimes kind of a little bit creepy,
Yeah.
Because, and like, with this dark shadows, I mean, it only happened once that I saw it, and it actually was recently, but yeah, I don't know why, but it was clearly like a black stuff, like woof, moving like super fast. Like it took a second. I mean, I just remember that I just saw it like from the corner of the eye and be like, like when you turn.
Yeah, that's scary. Well, good luck with that.
We'll see. Maybe it's a sign.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah. I mean, I have 3 dogs, so I think I'm safe enough.
Yeah. The dogs take care of you.
Yeah, there you go. But again, Arielle, I mean, at the end of the day, you were super awesome, super talented.
Thank you.
I can wait to see more of your amazing super work in the future. I really can wait for you to be in one of in this very epic franchise, either for movies, video games. We definitely have more talented people as you. Keep rocking. Make sure that you have a lot of fun this Halloween. And,
you too.
And keep rocking.
Thank you.
Also,
thank you so much for having me.
Also, I want to thank those who are watching. If you're watching this later on YouTube or watching this later on, or listening later on the podcast, make sure that you follow Arielle on all social media. Normally, what I would say is for you to put pause. You can leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I mean, it takes 1 second and it helps a lot. Then hydrate, and then go follow Arielle. Leave a million, trillion likes here and there. Share the content. Support her. Spread the word that we have an amazing, talented voice actress here. And spam Sony and like any other franchise we can, and then come back. And I really again, thank you so much. Before I send you off, you know the drill. I need to send you off in an epic way. So there you go.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Dan. I really, really appreciate it, as always.
Perfect. So again, keep rocking. Have an amazing super day, an amazing rest of the week, an amazing upcoming weekend, and keep being amazing. And I'll see you in the next one.
Sounds good. Rock it. Thank you so much.
You too. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.